Hi. So today I would want to highlight what do we want to achieve and where do we want to go. As a company, you have to decide what's the direction of the company and how the company is going to make some business together directly or indirectly. So the first step down the line would be to define or decide a clear go-to-market plan and go-to-market action. So first thing first, you have to identify where do you want to go and what kind of geographical business coverage you would want to achieve. Usually there are some direct sales and then there are some indirect sales. If you are already working with some of the channel partners, you probably consider them as your direct channel partner input stream. You could call it your customer, key customers, key accounts, etc. For example, if you are already having some contract with local companies like if you have Amazon and you're getting a little bit of resource work or work which is related to the maintenance of their environment, maintenance of their software, maintenance of their portals, that's your direct revenue stream. If you have an ISP subcontract where you are giving services to the ISP, then that's also considered to be as your uh, sort of direct channel partner alliance. So in the heart of the whole thing is your company name. For example, if you are a company, your company name is Global Services GS or DGS, just Global Services. Then you have the internal direct revenue streams where you have a little bit of alliance with some companies who pass on the leads to you. This could be your direct friends, this could be your alliances, this could be your partners as well. It happens very less likely or rarely where you have this kind of revenue referrals. You then have the main key pillar of the revenue stream, which is through the vendors or the business units. This could be the vendors you represent. For example, if you have a cybersecurity company, you have an alliance with most probably most of the streamline firewall companies. So let's say firewall vendor, and at the same time you do not only rely on one security technology, you have the antivirus vendors also in your approved vendor list or tested vendor list. You also have a distribution channel for let's say services platform. All right, and if you are a security supplier, you probably would also have some sort of cyber security management system as a service or as a software. So like this, you have an alliance with a lot of the companies which give you some products, some services, some portals. Similarly, if you are into email security, then you probably have a portal for the email security. And then if you are into the remote access uh, business line, you have MFA, multi-factor authentication. And then you have another business line, which could be a business revenue stream, excuse me, which could be slightly related to external but direct. This could be some of the people who are your BD agents. This could be the people who could connect you to your potential customers, who could basically show you the way where you could essentially find your direction to a potential business case. So these are some of the go-to-market uh, models or revenue streams where you could probably position yourself to. We also would want to see how the sales structure could be. So if you would want to have a look at how the sales team should be structured, you first thing first, you should have somebody who could be leading from the very top, and followed by the CEO. You could have multiple departments, if you will. As a typical sale, you would first define your territories. If you have a territory which is within the UAE, within the Middle East, within the Europe or Eastern Europe, you first design your territories. Let's focus on only two territories, BDM for the UAE or for Saudi, for KSA. And then you have the full-fledged ecosystem below that. For example, you could say if you have, most of the companies rely on temporary or permanent staff. If you have a group of people who are permanent uh, staff, though those could be the full-time engineers or full-time sales leads. If you are in the habit of having people who are also working part-time, you could refer to them as the PTEs as well. But regardless, if you're a services company, you would probably want to rely massively on the workforce of part-time workers because most of the time you don't have the projects in the pipeline, uh, regular projects in the pipeline. So then you have to get let go of some of the people after the project. I know it's not an easy thing to say, but typically this is how the services happen. You then have alliance partners where you sort of align yourself with the reseller arrangement or some of the service companies in the region. So this could be the same for a country or a region or a specific territory. Down the line, you have the indirect partners and the BD agents. Indirect partners are the partners who use specifically or uh, least specifically, you could um, follow up with them. You could have direct review with them for the sales quarterly, half yearly, or annually. BD agents are typically people who you don't have to push too much because for a BD agent, you have to pay them after a sale is nurtured or a sale is closed. So probably they are the people who are automatically motivated. Same thing goes with the regional sort of ecosystem. You could perhaps you could uh, follow up or you could review quarterly or half yearly with your direct team. But for the partners, you have to decide. If you have minimum sales targets, probably you don't have to chase a lot. But if you have open agreement with them where you do not have direct minimum order quantity or minimum complete sales, then you probably have to review with them every now and then in order to see how things are moving on. This was very, very straightforward and very small structure. The structure or the levers are not sufficient. You have to have some action plan as well, where you could essentially um, enable the team, where you could. I'm copying as I'm speaking, so you should have to have a plan of action in place where you would want to enable the team and have a clear line of action to to execute the plan. So you could call it action plan. For the action plan, you need to list down the jobs which you want to perform. For example, if we take the example of the UAE, so for UAE, you will say the first thing is I really need to enable the team. And once the team is enabled, I need to set goals and expectations. Once you set up those goals and expectation, then within the UAE region, you could define territories. You can say Dubai, let's say Jin, um, uh, Angus, and for the Abu Dhabi, say I don't know. So you could similarly you could define the sales strategies. Well, it's a long topic. There are so many tasks which are supposed to be completed when it comes to the action plan, but these are the first start of points. And then obviously you have to define some of the portfolios, and then you need to decide products and services, okay, and then enable the team on the price structure, and then of course with everything. Hands in hand, you have to have an effective marketing strategy. And again, this is a complete topic in itself, but this should be addressed down the line. You then have few things to take care of. For example, the quotation mechanisms. The quotation ecosystem is an entire ecosystem in itself. I should say sales cycle, setup sales cycle. You then have the tools, tools and portals. Okay, and then selling strategy. Okay, there is a new thing in town called selling with perspective. Uh, Perspective. It's the whole training in itself. In few coming videos, I'll explain how this works. And then, of course, you have the training for proposal, build up, collateral, build up, and then you have scoping, pricing, RFP or RFQ, participation, building, pipeline. So these are the few things which I would want to address later on. But this is typically how we have to plan. This is typically how we align things together. So quick recap, we define how things will happen in terms of the closure of the business deliverables. What would be the typical structure for the people to integrate and co-work, and then what will be a typical action plan. While this is not something which is set in stone, this could be optimized, this could be improved, this could be enhanced based on the company culture, based on the market response, based on the volume of the sales. So we'll discuss these things in much deeper details in upcoming